out of your fog lights? Would you like it better? Maybe something a little like this? We can help with that. In today's video, we're going to show you how to go from that dim light to this nice bright light with beautiful cutoff. We're going to show you a comparison of some different fog light options. We're going to show you how they look when they're all lit up, and we're going to show you how they look driving in a car. Hang on, and we're even going to show you how to install them too. So, just a moment, let's show you what we got. All right, so we're in the office today because it's a bajillion degrees outside in Texas today, and we're in the middle of summer, so it's daylight real late. You don't really need fog lights today, but as winter starts to come in and we go into fall here real soon, this is a good time to go ahead and replace them and be ready for the season change. Here we have a factory original fog light. You can see the lens has gotten a little bit hazy over the last 30 years. It's got a factory halogen style bulb in it. If this is what you have, you can upgrade the bulb, but in these, you'll see it's got a deflector inside. It's a design that was created in the 80s and hasn't really changed much. Nobody offers anything different on that. So what you get is what you get as far as how the light comes out of it. You can upgrade the bulb. We offer a couple of entry-level bulbs that this is the first one. It has about a 1-year warranty. It really doesn't provide a lot more light, but it will give you a white light, so it'll change the appearance of the lighting. With moving to the LEDs too, you won't burn yourself if you touch the fog light. These incandescent bulbs put off a lot of heat. We're going to show you the light differences here in a few minutes, and just from plugging them in for a couple of minutes to show the differences to point out to you guys, this lens is so hot I can't touch it in a matter of a minute or two. So that's a big difference. For about double the cost of this, you can move into a better warranty. You're still not going to get any better lighting. It'll still be white, but you'll go from a 1-year warranty to a 3-year warranty. So a much better warranty, but still no real major change in lighting. And then for about triple the cost, you can move into this bulb, where you are going to get a significant increase in lighting. It's still going to be more of a white light. Again, no heat output with any of the LEDs, but you would have to spend quite a bit more to get any major light output change. And then if you need to replace your housing, we have a factory style replacement. This is essentially a perfect replica, or very, very close to the factory ones. They all bolt, this bolts in the same way, the adjuster's in the same place. It's got the same diffuser reflector on the inside as this one. You can see here, they're basically identical. This one's got a new trim ring on it. But like I said, they bolt in the same way, your adjuster's in the same place. Direct swap still looks completely factory if you still want a factory look. If you don't care about having a factory look, but you want better lighting, we do offer some better options for that, and I'll pull those out and show those to you now. Okay, so our other options are these two here. We've got a Morimoto and a Diode Dynamics. So for less money, you can get a projector style fog light that, and now I'm talking about if you're replacing your housing and a good bulb, you can get a more current style projector style headlight that doesn't use a bulb, comes with a bracket that we design here in-house, and with these you get an 8 to 10 year warranty depending on which manufacturer you go with. Like I said, you have a projector, there's no bulb, and if you're wondering, well, what do you do if you need a new bulb? Well, you've got that 8 to 10 year warranty. You just replace the whole thing. 8 to 10 years, you're not going to have problems. These bolt in exactly the same with our bracket. You've got an adjuster here. The angle, they're angled, so they are side specific, just like the factory style. They're very close in size. Looking at the lens, a lot of what you get here is not actually used lens on the sides. So very close in actual lens size. And then these put out a much brighter light with a much crisper cutoff as well. So with these, once you get them adjusted, you don't have to worry about people bright lighting you, assuming you get them adjusted where they need to be. Both of them have the cooling fins on the back, and like I said, they'll bolt in exactly the same. We're going to show you the install a little later. The install is identical to all of these, so no changes, just a couple of bolts and a plug, with one minor exception we'll show you later. Okay, so what differences do we have in the projector fog lights? Not huge differences. You get a 8-year warranty with the Diode Dynamics and a 10-year warranty with the Morimoto. The Diode Dynamics does have a yellow running light if you choose to hook it up. That's that one difference I was talking about earlier. We're going to show you that later so that you can see what it looks like. Outside of that, they're slightly different size and depth, but it's all behind where you would actually see it. So once it's in the car, they're going to look almost identical. The brackets both bolt in like stock. So really the big differences are the warranty. You do get the running light with the Diode Dynamics. They're pretty similar in price, and then the little bit of depth. But like I said, once it's in the car, you're not going to notice the depth. You're only going to see it right here on the table. So that's a brief overview of the differences in these two. And we're going to set it up and show you all the difference in the brightnesses as we can show you here in the office, like I said, because it's a bajillion degrees outside. So we're going to get this set up, and we're going to show you each one of them lit up on the wall so you can see how they hit the wall and see the different cutoffs and decide what's best for you. Okay, so here we've got our factory original housing with the factory incandescent style bulb. You can see how you get kind of a yellowish color. It's got a pretty decent wide spread. You know, this wall is probably about, what you're seeing here is probably about 12 feet wide for what kind of light spread you're getting on it. When we move to the new housing with our LED bulb, the big difference you're going to see is it does look a little bit brighter. So you're going to gain a little light. Main thing is the white light, and being on a white wall, it's kind of making that look a little brighter as well. But if you'll notice the spread here, you can see my shadow here, it's much tighter. You're only getting about a 3, maybe a 4 foot spread off that light now, rather than with the, so let me slide it back over to this incandescent. You can see how wide that goes across the wall. So the differences when I was pointing out that's reflector on the inside of the bulb, that's the difference. They're not really designed for LED bulbs, so you just get this smaller spread on it. So I'm going to show you a little better bulb now. Okay, so here we've got the Diode Dynamics HP36 bulb, and this is the factory original housing. And then when I move this over, you can see in a reproduction housing, you do get a little bit more light. So you're losing some light out of that aged housing that gets hazy. Like I said, this shows up whiter. It's not more of a yellow, it's more white. Don't pay any attention to the height difference. We've got these set up on tables, so they're not perfectly level. But again, you can see how your spread is only about 3.5, 4 feet. It's not spreading out across the wall like the incandescent bulb did. So go on up to our high-end bulb and show you that one in a comparison, and then move on to the projectors after that. Okay, so here we've got our higher-end bulb in our replacement housing. You can see this is a little bit brighter. The throw is a little wider as well. This is probably closer to about a 5 foot throw, but again, not real wide. You can see the cutoff is not great. It looks kind of like a cloud all the way around, and then you get some throws over to the side with it that aren't super clean either. Oh, and it's going up high into the ceiling and stuff as well. So, you know, that could be a thing where you get people bright lighting you as you go down the road because you're shining up higher than you thought you were. Then when we move over to our first projector with the Morimoto bulb, let me see. Okay, so you can see this has a very clean and crisp cutoff. It shines a little bit more down, which is what you actually want to do, because you want to be hitting the ground in between where your headlights shine and where, you know, you're actually from the car. So you can see it's nice and bright along the top. This is a nice clean, and it's super wide. This is, you know, the other lights were, you know, anywhere from 3 to 5 feet wide output. This is very easily 15 feet, and we're about 8 feet off this wall. So you get a nice wide throw so that you can see the side of the road, you know, in case you got any little critters running along the road, or got good, you know, potholes or anything in the road. If you need to dodge it, it's going to be a lot easier to see with this nice wide throw on the Morimoto. Okay, so the one thing we wanted to show you is the diode does have this backlit running light that's yellow. That's one thing that the Morimoto doesn't offer. So if that is an option that you might be interested in, this is a feature of the Diode Dynamics Elite fog lights. Okay, so here's our Morimoto lit up again, and then here's the diode. Not a huge difference. You get a little bit of color change, but you still get the wide throw, same as the Morimoto. Really, you know, it might be shining a little bit wider against this white wall, but almost identical when you compare the two. As far as what you're getting as far as throw, width, you're not getting a whole lot of spread up. You got a good clean cutoff. So either of these options will get you a much better lighting on the road. Like I said, remember these are supposed to kind of take up the difference between where your headlights shine and where your vehicle is, so that you can take up that 30 or 40 feet in between, because your headlight should be hitting a little ways out. One last thing to point out too is, if you can see it on camera, there's a little bit of discoloration here on the wall. You're gonna get that on road signs, anything that reflects the light, you're gonna see this discoloration. So that's one thing to consider versus with the Morimoto. You don't get that. You just get, it shows up a little bit yellow, but that would be closer just to as the white light fades out for the cutoff, versus again with the diode, you get that. In here it shows up to be a very distinctive purple. And when you look at them from the front, you know, they're both quite bright. They're both LEDs and projectors, so they're going to shine out and function the same way. That's the differences in all the bulbs that we offer, or fog lights that we offer rather, because these aren't bulbs. We're going to show you how to install them, and then we're going to show you the Morimotos out on the road driving down the road. Okay, to get to the fog lights, you're going to come up under the front bumper, and there's going to be this plastic air dam here that has 4 10mm bolts that hold it in place. And you can see, let me get the light moved over. You can see the little opening in one of the bolts there. There's 4 along the top there. You're going to take those out and just going to pull the air dam down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, just because it's easier, and then I'll show you once I get those 4 out. Okay, I've got this loose, and then you can see this is going to be the same on each side. There's 2 bolts right here. These are going to hold the bracket for your fog lights in. So you're going to take those out, and then your fog light should just slide out the front. You'll also have the clip to plug it in. This one's already been unplugged for some other stuff we were doing, but I'm going to take these 2 out. When you take these 2 out, you want to use your free hand and hold the fog light up front so that it doesn't fall out. Okay, I've got the bolts broke loose, so I'm getting them off. Like I said, you want to hold the light in your hand from the front. The clip for the power's already unhooked. And then once you get both of these bolts out, it will just slide out the front like so. So we're going to repeat it with the other one, and then we'll be ready to install the new ones. Okay, we've got our new Morimoto fog lights here that we're about to install. We've got our old ones removed already. When you order from us here at Screaming Chicken, we'll send you new hardware, so you're ready to go. All you got to do is install them. So the install is exactly the same as the removal, just reversed. So you're going to hold it up in there and slide it in, and then you'll install your 2 bolts. And then you do have an adjuster on these on the bottom, so you can adjust them up or down. We try to send them to you adjusted a little bit down so you're not blinding anybody. These are quite bright. And then if you need to adjust them up a little bit, it's not a big deal. It's just a Phillips head screw. So let me go ahead and get these in there to show to you and show you how to install them. Like I said, you just slide them in 2 bolts. It's not difficult. This whole job shouldn't take you more than an hour, if even that long. All right, so we're going to take our new fog light. We're going to take the hardware out of the bracket. We're going to leave the clips on. We're just going to unscrew the bolts that we send with them. And then we've got our harness sticking through the hole here. Maybe a little hard to see with the lighting. I'll shine the light up here in just a second once I get this other bolt out. So we got our harness right here. We're gonna go ahead and plug the harness in while holding the light. This can only go one way. There's a little, I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but there is a little part of the clip in there, so it'll only plug in one way. And then we're gonna slide this in and just kind of set it over. It'll stay there for you to get up underneath, and then I'm gonna try to bring you guys underneath to show you with the light if I can. It's real easy to see if the clips on the fog light so that you can start your bolts because they are silver, so it makes it a lot easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys down here with me. And try to set the light right there. And I don't know how well this will pick up on camera, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, you could see it there. You could see the silver crossing over through those holes. So it's pretty easy to get started. You know, just get you a light down here so you can see, and it's not a bad job at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys back on the tripod, and I'll get this one installed, and then we'll turn on the switch so you guys can see them light up. Okay, so I'm gonna take my 2 bolts and I'm gonna slide back under here, and once I get this down, I can see my silver clips in there, so it's real easy to get this started, assuming I have the fog light lined up right here, because you have to hold it in the correct position. These holes are just big enough for the bolts to go through, so you do need to have it at roughly the right pitch for the bracket. And there's that one started. Take a ratchet and get them tight. And with the light naturally. Okay, got them plugged in. We've got them tight. We still have our dam hanging down, but I will go ahead and go turn on the light. Slide you guys back where you can see them both again, and let you guys see the lights come on. So hopefully that's not washing out the camera completely. Kinda, yeah, as I move the camera up and down, it does kind of wash out a little bit, but nice bright fog lights. Look great in the car. Let me turn them back off real quick and I'll get you a shot of them off just so you see how they look up there. You see they look real good inside the grill of the car. All that we have left is putting those 4 bolts that hold that plastic balance up underneath. Okay, one thing I did want to show you guys real quick with this is these are tapered, so they are side specific. You want them, if you're set them in front of the car, you want them to taper back towards the outside of the car. So when you do go to install them, make sure you get that part right.